Welcome back, my favorite game developers. In this video, actually, and not in this video, I've created this video in order for us to maximize the potential of learning from this course. So I want to guide you through a couple of steps that we can use in order to fully squeeze out all the learning energy from the course you're currently taking, because you are already spending your time here, so why not maximize it? So the first thing that we are going to understand is how the Q&A works. So as you are watching the videos, you're looking through them, maybe something comes up that you do not fully understand. So what you can do is you can go ahead and slide into the discussions right here, and you can see that you have multiple options. You can either start a conversation, ask a question, or you can simply just share a project. So in here, you can ask me any question that you want. No question is off limit. But there is a small step that you need to do before you ask me a question, and that is go ahead and do your own research. Why do I ask you to do that? Well, because sometimes when you stumble upon a problem and you go ahead and look for a solution yourself, and then you either find it or you don't, when you come back and ask me the question, it's much easier to understand. Why is that? Because you've already went through a couple of suggestions. Maybe none of them were suitable, but as you go along finding the solution to your problem, you have gained a lot of knowledge. And when you come to me, when you ask Michael and we go through together finding of the solution, you will understand how everything clicks. And later on, when you maybe come upon the same problem, or maybe you see this problem for another student, you can help them out and it's much easier. And finally, whenever you do find a solution to your question, edit your question and add a solved prefix to it, because other students might have the same problem and they will find a solution for their problem if they see the solved prefix behind it. And finally, before I leave you, I just want to say one thing, that there is no question off limit. There is no stupid questions, there is no dumb questions. There are only non-professional game developers. Nobody was born a professional. We all have to learn through trial and error. You wouldn't believe how quote unquote my questions were dumb, because I wasn't born a professional in Unity. It took me years of practice, trial and error, asking questions, googling things. So this is a process. Don't worry, don't be afraid, don't be insecure about some of the questions that you might want to ask. Be brave enough to go look for a solution. If you don't find one, don't worry about it, just leave a question. I always answer all of my students, and we always delve as deep as needed in order to find a solution to any problem. And now let's talk about the Discord server. And this is where you can go deeper into the community that we've created here on M Game Dev. So you can go either to the link in the description of this video, or you can visit my profile and find the link somewhere in there. And I do recommend that you join the Discord. Why? Because most of the time it might take me a couple of hours in order to reply based on where are you from. So maybe we live in different time zones. Maybe when you do ask me the question, it's midnight and you need a solution fast. I might be sleeping, I might be not able to get to my computer. So it's very beneficial for you to join the Discord channel that we've created. And let me just show you the Discord channel right here. This is the beginning of our Discord channel. You can see that we have the general community, we have the C# chat, we have the game design chat, we have the show off your game, we have the general game development questions, and you can see that we still don't have anything in here because it's fairly new as I'm recording this, but later on when you go in here you'll notice that there is a huge community of people waiting to help you and maybe people waiting to get help from you, and it's very beneficial to try to solve other people's question. You wouldn't believe how much I've learned from just helping other people. And you can see here that we have multiple courses. These are all the courses that Double M Game Dev has, or I've created. And we can see also we can share memes in here. We have general game discussions, AAA games, I don't know, whatever you like to play. We can discuss them in here in the social channel or category, and so on and so forth. So I do recommend that you join our Discord server. It's very fun. We are going to have a lot of fun there, and that's it. That's all that I wanted to say about the Discord server. Now let's move on to the challenge slides. So what are challenge slides? As you move through each video, you will notice that at some point I'm going to tell you to pause the video and start the challenge. So when you see this slide, you'll wait for me to finish all the points, and then you have to pause the video. Why am I emphasizing the word have to pause? Because it's much better to learn by doing and not by just watching. Many courses that I've learned from and that I personally took where I felt lacking in the department of doing. So you just sit around, you watch somebody create a game, okay, that's very good, now it's over, okay. And then you finish the course, and after a couple of weeks you notice that you don't actually know how to do anything. So the challenge slides that I've created is extremely important, because you at this point start doing instead of watching. And even if you can't figure out how to do the challenge, don't worry about it. I will be there to help you after you've tried and help complete the challenge with you, so you are never left alone. And in addition to that, just like looking through answers to your questions before asking in the Q&A, when you do a challenge, you stumble upon multiple variables that you might not have considered before. And when you see how I complete the challenge, you will have it ingrained much better in your head when you then encounter the same problem when you do start creating your own games. Okay, so let's move on to the course structure and just talk about each section, and briefly just to get you a heads up on what we are going to do. So first of all, we have the section 1, which you are currently seeing right now. We have the how to use this course, how to download and set up Unity and Visual Studio, and then we'll just talk about the game design and the inspiration of our game and where we are going to get it. We'll also have just a brief introduction into Unity and Visual Studio, just so you get that uncomfortable first phase out of the way. Then we are going to be setting up our world. This is just like it says, we are going to be setting up the world that we have. We'll use a bit of sprites, we'll set up the player, and so on and so forth. Then we are going to set up the shooting mechanics, because obviously we will have weapons in the Timebot Invader, so we will need some kind of weapons. And the most important thing whenever you are starting a game is to set up the core mechanics, and this is what we are going to do by setting up the shooting. We are going to set up the enemies. Obviously we need enemies. This will be the first phase of our enemy setup. Then we are going to have a more varied, let's say a more variety in the enemies, but for now this will be enough just to have somebody to shoot at. We are going to be creating rooms using tile maps. This is where we are going to learn how to slice up the sprites. We will already learn how to do that, but we will learn how to create tile assets from the sliced up sprites. Then we will have the level flow. So this is when we are going to start moving from one level to the next, because obviously this is a roguelike game, so we are going to create that level flow. Let's continue on. We have section 7, which is the destructible environment. We want to have crates that we can destroy and get coins from them. Well, not crates actually, I think there will be vases or something. We will get coins from them and we will get health from them. We will have advanced shooting, so this is where we are going to create a weapon system. So back when we created the shooting mechanics, we will only have a pistol maybe, or a shotgun or something. Then in this one we will have a shotgun, rifle, pistol, and all of that good stuff. Then we will have the health system, because at this point we still don't die and we still don't kill the enemy, it just explodes. So in this section we are actually going to be adding a health system where our health slowly drains, and so does the enemies. We have the pickups. Obviously we can pick up health, pick up weapons, pick up what else, maybe coins. We will have the music and sound effects, because what game doesn't have music and sound effects? We will have multiple enemy types. This is something that I've told you before. We already have one type of enemy, but we are going to create different AIs for different ways the enemies will work. We will have in section 13 the shop and money system, as you'll see in the next video maybe, or in the next couple of videos. Our inspiration comes from a game that's called Hades, and there we have a shop, and almost all games have a shop and money system, and this is where we'll introduce our own. In the shop you can buy health, buy upgrades, and buy weapons, maybe something else, we'll see. We'll have creating menus. Obviously every single game has a menu, so we will also have a menu. And then we have the section 15, which is advanced unity, and that is where we are going to create the boss battle. So to this point we have the enemies, we have the weapon system, we have everything set up. Now it's time for an actual boss battle, and I think every good game has its own boss battles. The mechanics will be different from the regular enemies, and it will be different through a system which is the state machine, which is the advanced unity part of the course. So make sure that you get to this section. Finally we have the bonus section, which is the section 16, which is the room generation. So as you'll see in the game that we're just going to play, and actually in any roguelike game, there is also always the room generation. So we will have let's say 5 or 6 models for rooms, and then as you kill all the enemies and all the waves in every room, then you are going to move on to the next room, and the next room will be random, and you'll also have a choice between 2 rooms. So you'll be able to choose between, let's say, the boss battle room and a room full of skeletons, or the boss battle room and a room full of spikes, and then maybe a room full of spikes and I don't know, maybe the shop or something. So this will be the advanced C# and object-oriented programming, because it will take a lot of work for us to have this randomized room selection, and it's going to be very fun. We are going to learn a lot. So before I leave you, I'm just going to give you a couple of words of not encouragement, but if you want to call it that, you can call it that, encouragement. As you go through this journey, you are going to face a lot of challenges, so make sure to always push through them. Whenever you encounter a problem, I recommend that you first of all do your own research. So go through, go ask the question on Google, check out some videos on YouTube, and then when you find yourself extremely stuck, go into the Q&A, look for your questions, look for an answer, and you can also immediately ask me. I'm always there. I always answer any question. And with that said, this is going to be an amazing journey of I don't know how many hours, or for you how many weeks it will take for you to finish the course, or maybe days. It will take you days. What I recommend is that you get to the last 2 sections, because this whole course is, especially if you're a beginner, so this course starts off at a very beginner level, we move to a intermediate level, and as you see right now in the last 2 sections, we go to the advanced level. And once you get to the last 5 or 6 sections, you will have so many skills, so many tools in your arsenal, that the advanced sections will be pretty easy, I think, hopefully, if I've taught you everything right. So with that said, let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Continue on.